One of the journals I read was by a young boy who talked about the graves along the Oregon Trail. And this was something I hadn't really realized, is so many people died on that trail that if you stretch them all out, there would be one burial about the length of every football field. And from what he's described in the journal is when somebody died, usually from an accident or from disease, bad water, or drowning, they would bury them right on the trail itself. So they dig a hole, bury the person, fill it, and then run a whole train of wagons over that grave. Oregon Trail is 2,000 miles. There must be so many unmarked graves. People will never know who they are. So here we are in Wells Springs. It's surrounded by the bombing range. And this is a cemetery. About 13 pioneers were buried here. The markers are all gone. They're not sure of the names. I think they know the names of maybe 2 of them. In the 1920s, the graves were still visible, but now everything is disappeared. The area is fenced off to keep cattle from grazing in the area, and there's a few markers. And Gilliam was also said to have died here during the Indian Wars. And the story is he pulled that rifle out of his wagon and it accidentally discharged. They knew they were never coming back. It was a one-way trip to Oregon. They would never be coming back to visit the grave of the family member. And not only that, they knew nobody would even know where the grave was, or even who was buried there. It's something we don't think about today in our modern lives, but it was the way of life for those who came on the Oregon Trail. And I thought that part of his journal was especially interesting and worth sharing, because I don't know if many other people knew that as well. It's an incredible experience those people had, but it was also a very dangerous journey. And there were many young children. In fact, I think more children came across on the Oregon Trail than adults. And everybody walked those 2,000 miles. The wagons were for carrying supplies and gear. And maybe a few people rode some of the way, but most everybody walked 2,000 miles. And if you got sick or you broke a leg by having a wagon wheel run over it, there was no emergency phone number you could call, no helicopter coming to rescue you. There was nothing. We were very reliant on yourselves and the other people in the wagon train. And so that's how somebody have a broken leg could die, because it couldn't be treated properly. And there were no antibiotics back then either. And so you had young children, maybe they slip off the wagon, their wheel runs over their leg, and a few days later they're buried on the Oregon Trail.